2010s. So video review of our match against Sporting Delaware. Um, Even though the result isn't really a question, there's still certain things that we can look at and build on, and learn as we get into other opponents within the WAGs tournament and upcoming matches. So really first focus is going to be really in possession scenarios and uh, securing the ball and making sure we have the proper movement and space to be able to play through opponents. And I think the first couple of clips, you just see that things get a little bit frantic at times, and recognizing when the ball is secure. We're still very central. Even though Naomi got on the ball, we're still very central, and we're not able to make a big shape. So the ball is really not secure yet, until this pass right here. So once Alex gets the ball into Naomi, we should be confident that we can now create a little bit bigger of a shape and spread them out a little bit more, just to be able to create more gaps in these areas right there. So since she's under pressure, now we want to open up here, and as we break this line here, this first pass right here, now it's just the recognition of how do we want to play. Yes, a ball can be the ball ends up being delivered into space, but could we potentially put it on Celine's foot first? Can Amy Lynn come into this gap here so that this player is forced to look at her, and then play into that area and then play out? Just different scenarios for us to be able to possess. It looks like maybe Emmy was trying to get it into Amy Lynn and play it out, but that's the difference between a successful attack and in a possession scenario versus now there's a turnover and we're forced to defend. Same thing here. Can we play this ball earlier, Ella and Harlow? Can your body shape be fixed? Or can we recognize that the entire opponent that we're playing against is in this space right here, and maybe we can just play the ball back into this area here, spread out a little bit while the ball is secure. Harlow's in a 1v1, so if we can get her there, or any of our forwards or wingers in a 1v1, we want to get them the ball. But if it's not going to happen because of the pressure that's on Ella, now look where our right back is, look where our center back is, and our other center back. So now we're forced into running, and this Sporting Delaware team didn't provide that much of a challenge in behind, but we will see teams that do. So can we be a little sharper to get the ball into a forward's feet, from our two outside backs, whichever outside backs they are? Again, you'll see a little bit of frantic play here, and I'm not sure what the score is, but I'm sure we're winning in this scenario. So it's, can we slow ourselves down a little bit instead of going 100 miles an hour all the time, and get the ball under control on that one there, Emmy? Can you shield the ball away from her and take the ball into this open space? Not necessarily just to play to Lucy, but just because this is where all your free space is, and look at all of their opponents in white there. And as they play the ball in, now it's a tackle. Okay, can we secure the ball in this scenario? We've got plenty of numbers to be able to play with our three here and our winger. So we want to make sure we put it on our foot. If we're not able to split in here, can we put it on her foot so that now she can begin to combine, with these players there? But instead, it turns into a run. And again, great defensive job. We got the ball, but we didn't secure the ball well enough in that scenario. Again, are we under a lot of pressure? Is the ball secure? Yes, it is right here. So now we can get into a good big shape and play through their lines. So this first touch here from Emmy, I think when you see a defender here, and this is for everybody's benefit, when you see a defender right there because you checked your shoulder, you probably then take your first touch in here so that you can play into Alex. These two midfielders, Riley and Alex, try not to be on the same line. Once we have that good of shape in our buildup, once we have this good of shape, Alex, either you go there or there, and then Riley can fill in, the other space, just to unbalance their midfield. So, and we get it back. So now it's a point. Can we secure the ball? maybe the best decision is for Chaya to drop out a little bit, and we just play her there and start over again. Doesn't matter that that didn't happen because we have players, enough black jerseys here to keep the ball, but it's not under control. So now you can see everybody's running and chasing after the ball instead of, being under control, as our center backs and outside backs are starting us off on a good path. Tough ball there, but great decision to just lay it off. So now we should be able to break a line here or here. We do in the air, but it's not under control. So again, now we're back to defending, and we want to just get this ball under control. And that's where it takes, the group of you to just kind of slow down, put your foot on the ball, and secure it. Again, can we maybe just play into Chaya there and slow down instead of feeling like we have to go 100 miles an hour, into the opponent? Back four spacing, again, something we can learn about. Okay, so again, as Chaya gets this ball here, how are they defending versus where is the open space? So the open space is over here. So yeah, Naomi's a little close, but you can still get away with playing Naomi. You could certainly get it into Kaylin so that we can spread out. But instead of putting it into pressure there, that's something that we want you guys to think about. Again, is the ball going to be secure in this situation? Are there passes here to be able to get out of this pressure, instead of dribbling into the opponent's feet? That's what we want you thinking about. Okay, good pressure, not bad in terms of the regain mentality, but could we pass the ball a little bit earlier into a teammate that has a little bit more open space from Chaya or Alex in that scenario? Again, spacing here. If Bella is able to get out here, and if Naomi is able to get out here, then Chaya can play into Kaylin, and we have this whole space here open. But because these two roles with Naomi and Kaylin are switched, like this should be Kaylin right here receiving the ball and Naomi on this side, and then that lets Bella know that she can get nice and wide. But now Naomi feels like she has to force the play, and it puts Bella under a little bit too much pressure, and she gets out of it well. But it's a little bit more stress induced versus us having a little bit more composure. And it's a very similar situation here. This isn't a bad idea from Naomi to go forward here, but Chaya, you see how far you are away in this scenario. And then Emmy, you probably want to be tucked in because we're going down this side. And we don't want to leave too many players. If you could see Chaya's in a 2v1, so if we lose possession of the ball, by accident, obviously no one means to do it, you can see the counterattack that they would have against Chaya. And again, it's not going to happen here, but again, could we have played right back into Chaya or into Naomi here, Bella? Unless Amy Lynn is here and you see the path to play her the ball, or Harlow's checking back, can we play into Naomi here where Chaya is supporting her? We play it back, and now we switch to Emmy and we go forward the other way. And it just happens a couple of times in the same clip. Again, scenario here, Chaya, are you close enough to help her out? Riley, can you come and help her out as well? Or I think that might be Alex. So again, we're just not out of it. And again, this is Naomi right here. This is Bella. And look at all this space open. So we think you could have, as a group, handled this scenario a little bit differently, considering how spread out this Sporting Delaware team is. They're going to give us gaps to play through. So as we saw throughout the rest of the match. But again, we're just working to get it working, and at the end of the day, it creates us being in their 18 anyways, but we can slow it down a little bit. Very similar here. Center backs good in this scenario. Once the ball gets into Naomi, again, Chaya, can we get out wide here because this player's running, and then Naomi can just bounce into Kaylin, and then if this player goes out to Chaya, then Riley or Amel can come in, or Alex can come in and get it, or if Kaylin's feeling pressure, she can clear the danger. But it doesn't look like they were going to do that. So again, we would rather have Kaylin have this ball and then Chaya, you be out there just to spread them out a little bit. But instead, we have to go into a 2v1 or a 1v2, and it puts us under in a tough spot. So a couple clips on this one. This first one's just our defensive shape. We're pressing, and we continue to press them, but once it's broken down, it's very important that we realize. So here's our 10. We'll just make a quick triangle. Here's our 10 here, 6 and 8. So you guys can see that right there. And now we're allowing them to be able to play into this space right there. So if you see that space right there, so good pressure on the ball, but there has to be an understanding of who's doing what. So, if Alex is up, then Amel, you can drop in, or vice versa. If Amel goes, then Alex, we got to protect this gap here, because you can see that it's a line that, a solid team that we're playing, a solid opponent, is going to punish us here, because this player now has time and space to play in behind, and decent from Naomi and Bella to get back there. But we just got to be very careful, if a team breaks our press, that we're at least positionally in the correct spots. So timing of the run here, in terms of when we do finally get service off. So you can see Harlow's dribbling. So this is the moment where we need to start getting our midfielders and our other winger in, and Kendall, your objective is to always get to the near post in front of the goalkeeper. And it happened a couple of times. Once she's behind you, as soon as the ball leaves her foot, it's a sprint to this area here. Maybe it's a layoff back to Amy Lynn. Maybe it's just a dummy to let it go across, but we've got to make sure we take this defender down here, and then Amy Lynn's just coming in, and I think that's who's coming in on the back end there. Another scenario on their punt as they break. What's our defensive shape? It's going over the 3 forwards' head, right into our midfield. The bounces, so the pressure's there from Naomi, and that's good. So there was cover from the back 4. How do we want to deliver this ball? I think, Harlow, you'll get much more time and space if you're able to open her up a little bit, and then give Bella a chance to get forward, and then Amy Lynn can play you through. Kendall maybe checking too as well. As you do get wide, again, we've got to recognize that Harlow, 6 times out of 10 at least, is going to get a cross off. So the action here is to take care of the front post, and Amy Lynn's not going to be able to get there ahead of ML, so she's going to be the one that gets to about the 18 once this cross comes off. So again, can we get to the near post? Can we fill the box? Can we get on the right side of this defender, and create a better scoring opportunity? Last one here. This is a pretty good sequence here. Now it's just recognizing, that this is the one where, instead of playing out wide to Harlow, it's great if you pick up speed, and then Amy Lynn, you're just slipping it in between. So when you hear all of us talk about gates, you can see that they've got a gate, set up for us to play through. And so if we're not able to play through that gate, then we're putting Harlow into a 1v1 instead of a 1v0. So now she has to turn around. So if the ball goes there, Harlow's running straight to serve it. She still gets service off, because they didn't come over and cover. But again, see how they have a goalkeeper here and one of their center backs there. So we want to make sure we get in front of this player, get numbers in the box, so that we can make sure we get an opportunity there. But again, not a bad effort. Obviously, a good result from us against this opponent. Hopefully these clips will just give you some ideas in possession on, how we can break teams down, as the opponents get a little bit stronger. Great work. If there's any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch, and we'll see you.